Okay. In middle of Payam Beit at the Tashma, right in the middle of the page. Thank Hashem, the table time Torah every day, and the source of our learning, we should have the base of Migdash immediately. So, what's going on in this Gemara? We introduced an interesting machlekes by quoting a Mishnah about the water of the paraduma called mechatas that other water got mixed into. We had over there machlekes between Rabbi Lezer and the Rabbanan. Rabbi Lezer says that you sprinkle 2 sprinklings from that mixture. The Rabbanan say that it's puzzle. Rabbanan say it's puzzle. So we explain the Rabbanan because they hold that yesh bila, right? That when a solution, a mixture between 2 liquids, right? A solution of two liquids together, we say that it mixes evenly. We also hold that hazat shir, you need to have the right amount. We also hold that you can't combine two.
We just said that the secretary, their father was.
I got it earlier. So, and Hazah. And Hazah needs, and Hazah said not mitzdaref. You can't combine 2 Hazahs to create the shir, 2 sprinkling. The question was, what does Rabbi Eliezer hold? So we had 3 opinions. We had the opinion of Rish Lakish, we had the opinion of Rava, and we had the opinion of Rav Ashi. Rish Lakish and Rava hold that Rabbi Eliezer holds yesh bila, that there is mixing. Hazah then now the machlekes gets a little complex. Then Hazah tzricha shir is a machlekes between Rish Lakish and Rava, and Rav Ashi holds ein bila. Rav Ashi holds that it doesn't mix evenly. Okay. Now we had questions on Rish Lakish, we had questions on Rav Ashi, and we're holding now by this Tashma. It says going to be another question on Rav Ashi. Rav Ashi says ein bila, that when you have a solution of two liquids together, Rav Ashi holds that it doesn't mix evenly.
He holds that also by mikvah.
He holds that, we're going to say that he holds it both by the paraduma and he also holds by the blood. The 2 bloods mixed together, it doesn't mix evenly.
Whether by water, by mikvah, they have one of those situations.
Yeah.
Also he holds.
Right. So, Tashima, Nasnan Lamaila V'lei Nimlach. If the blood of the mixture of 2 sacrifices, one was supposed to go above, one was supposed to go below, the bloods mix together, and the person doesn't ask what to do. All he does is he puts it above. He puts the blood on the upper part of the altar. Remember, there's 2 types of sacrifice: chatas and na'ila. The chatas goes above, the oila goes below on the animal sacrifice. So, elu ve'elu moedim sheyachsav yitin lamata. Now, this is sort of resolved itself because he didn't ask, so he put the blood above. Now, the Chachamim held normally, there's nothing you can do. You have to throw it out. Rabbi Lezer said you can put it above, and you could imagine, you could view it, you could make that the blood that's not supposed to go above is just like water, called rayin. We view it as if it's water. And then when it comes to putting the other one, the remnants below, so as you're putting the remnants below, you're also putting the blood that's supposed to go below the line together. So you end up satisfying the chatas that goes above, and you end up satisfying the oil that goes below. The Chum say you can't do that because you can't put it above. They don't say rayin. They don't say that we view it as if it's water. You can't put the blood above because it's the wrong sacrifice. You can't go above, so you have to spill it out. Over here, the person went ahead and he put it above. So he took care of the problem with the Chachamim saying you can't put it above. He did it without asking. He put it above. And what do you do now? So the remnants have to go below. So you put it below. And now you satisfy the oila by putting it down below. Everything is good. So you put it below, and you have to, with that, you're going to satisfy the oila, which goes below. You satisfy the chatas, which goes above.
We're talking about the squeezing onto the wall.
No, that was by a bird. Now we're talking about an animal sacrifice.
The spritz?
The spritz, yeah.
Not on the corners. Just
actually, a chatas does go on the corners, yeah.
But we're not getting into corners now. How many corners?
You didn't get into it. Yeah. Okay. Now, ve'elu alalai. And this and this, what's this and this? The oila and the chatas is satisfactory. Problem is that if Rebbe Lazar holds we said before, the ve'elu maidim, which means Rebbe Lazar and Chum agree that you just put the blood below. You put the blood below, and then then both sacrifices would be satisfactory. Now the problem is if Ravashi is correct, where the bloods don't mix evenly, so then it's very possible. Ravashi says in Rebbe Lester's opinion that the bloods don't mix, and it's very possible that the blood that you put above was the blood of the oila, which doesn't belong above. The blood that you put below was the blood of the chatas, which doesn't belong below. So what do you mean it's satisfactory? You messed them both up, possibly. We don't know how they mixed, right? Maybe what could go wrong did go wrong, and you messed it all up. Gemara says, "Hacha beruba el yainim kayav lamayla shir tachteinu ba'id." Talking about the majority is a carbon chatas, which is supposed to go above, and the minority is the carbon oila, which is supposed to go below. So the amount of blood that you put above the line was the amount of the minority plus the drop, which means you definitely have some blood of the chatas here. You satisfy that and you put it above. Gemara says, but there's a possibility that maybe the blood that was supposed to go below never got below, which means that all the oila was actually put above plus a drop, and you didn't get any of the blood of the chatas. You didn't get any blood of the oila left over to put below. What are you telling alalai? It says but you said that it satisfies both sacrifices, and you just told me that there's a possibility you put all the blood of the oila above plus a drop. So the Gemara answers, Miktani Elavelu Maidim, that Elavelu Alalai. Does it say both Rabbi Eliezer and the Chum agree that both sacrifices are satisfactory? No. Elavelu Alalai Ktani. It just says that both sacrifices are satisfied, Chatas and Oila, but it's only going according to the Rabbanan. Seifa Asal the Rabbanan, Dami Yesh Bila. That end of the, you told me Elavelu Maidim. Both agree that you put it below, but you didn't say both agree that both sacrifices are satisfied. Both sacrifices are satisfied is only according to the Chachamim. That last phrase is not according to both opinions. I called it mixing. I go back to dispersion. Okay. No, I'm sorry. The terms are. And the Hebrew terms are bila. Right. The Hebrew terms are bila, yesh bila, or ein bila. Bila means to mix. The English terms could be either mix or dispersion, or So I'm sorry if it's not. It's inconsistent from yesterday. Okay. Follow what happened over here. That according to Rebbe Lezer, the only sacrifice that was satisfied is going to be the one that went above, which is the chatas, because the one that was below, maybe you used up all the blood for above, maybe it didn't satisfy. According to the Chachamim, it's actually satisfied. So it's interesting. Where Rebbe Lezer was usually the more lenient one, here it comes out that the Chachamim are going to be more lenient and they're going to accept the sacrifice below because they hold yesh bila, that it's mixed.
What do you mean, maybe all the blood was used up? Either was used up or not used up? Were they saying maybe all the chatas blood? There's two
cups, right? One's from a chatas, one's from an oila. I don't know exactly. But here we're not talking about two cups. Actually, we're talking about that. There's one cup and it got mixed in. It got mixed together. And I don't know now that in this mixture, is it dispersed evenly, or is there an imaginary line in between? Like oil and water.
So like sugar and it's all
right. Is it called yesh bila or ein bila? It doesn't mix even. So we say, well, someone came along and spritzed the blood above the line. That should satisfy the carbon chatas. We said, how do you know? Maybe all the blood that went above the line was the blood in the cup that belonged to the oila. So we said that he spritzed the amount of blood that surpassed the amount of the oila, so there had to be at least some of the chatas. He said, so why do you say that afterwards you spritz it below and it covers both sacrifices? Maybe all the oila blood was above and there was nothing left for below. So we say that that's only going to the other, according to the other opinion that says it mixed evenly. That's our answer. Follow? Yeah? Okay. That's yeah. Every droplet has from each one. That's the opinion of the Chacham and Yesh Bila. Also, Rabbi Lezer, according to the two other opinions, according to Rava and according to Rish Lakish. Okay. Right. Oh yeah. The what's hard is to get smicha when Mashiach comes. That you'll have to paskin on things that have to do with the base of English. That's going to be hard. We'll learn a whole new set of laws. Tashima. So another kasha on Ravashi. Yeah, Ravashi holds
ein bila. Yeshiva in Eretz Yisrael that just learns that all the
yeah, they don't get smicha though. In the testing. Tashima hanitanim b'matana achas shenasarva b'nitanim b'matana achas. Sacrifices that only have one application of blood, for example, a bachar, a meiser, it's mixed in with another sacrifice, only has one application of blood. So what do? You're not in matana achas. You just put one application, and that satisfies both. But if we hold that it doesn't mix evenly, so what do you mean that you do one application? It means one application means two applications, one for each, right? So Dilma mihai kayav, my like kayav. Maybe you only gave from one of the sacrifices. How do you know that you gave from both sacrifices, even if you did it twice? But maybe it's all from the same sacrifice. There was only one droplet of blood that got mixed with one droplet of blood. You did twice, and you did them both. So of course you covered it. Okay, let's go further. Matanarba, yeah. No, the ratio. It's not because the ratio matters. It's because there were two droplets of blood in the entire mixture. So when you sprinkle both, I don't care the ratio, but you covered both, right? Because you did both.
That's pretty hard to have two drops and then sprinkle when you have
an eyedropper. Matanarba. Let's say there's two sacrifices that they need 4 applications of blood. Okay. So over here it has to be that they're both above below the line. Let's say an oila and a shlamim are both below the line. Okay, mix up. So if we hold like Ravashi, then the problem here is that even when you did 4 applications of the blood, it says that you do 4 applications of blood and it covers both, right? But maybe you didn't maybe you did 4 applications, now 8 applications because you did 4 from each. But maybe you didn't get all from the same, maybe you didn't get from both sacrifices. Maybe you did all from one sacrifice. You had 4 droplets that got mixed with 4 droplets. So when you do the both 8 applications, so then you covered the, it's really not 8, it's 2 plus 2. It's the 2 that are 4. So then you covered everything because you used up all the blood that's there. So obviously, if you used it all up, then you got both of them.
This is now one where they're going on the 4 corners.
Yeah, there's the 2 corners. 2 corners. 2 corners. Matanarba, matana achas. Let's say one of them is supposed to be 4 corners, 4 sides of the. Another one was supposed to be only 1. Which, for example, an oila got mixed with a bechar, firstborn animal, right? So what do you do now? So this was the interesting machlokes between Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua. Rabbi Eliezer said that you do 4 applications. Rabbi Yeshua says you do 1 application. Rabbi Eliezer says to Rabbi Yeshua, but you're going to violate Bal Tigra. You're doing less than what you're supposed to do. You're not allowed to decrease from what the Torah says. And Rabbi Yeshua says, well, you're adding to what the Torah says, right? You remember? Remember the Mishnah? Okay. I have a mixture of 4 mixed with 1. Right? 2 sacrifices. 1 is 4. No, he said, Rabbi Eliezer holds you can't do any extra. You have to do the minimal amount. The minimal amount is 1. Yeah? So, if we hold like Rav Ashi, what's our question going to be? If it doesn't mix, so then, so how's it going to satisfy the other carbon? Maybe only applied from 1. Maybe we'll say yeah, but we're asking on Rav Ashi holds that it's not dispersed. We don't have a full dispersion, right? It doesn't disperse evenly. So okay, what's the aleph here? That 4 got mixed with just 1 exact drop. So then the solution over here is Rabbi Eliezer says that you have to do 4 applications. So really what you're going to do is 5 applications, right? Because you're going to do 4 plus 1. So you're going to do 5 applications. And how much blood got mixed? 4 droplets with 1. So when you do the 5 droplets, you covered, what are you asking? You've covered you did all the blood. So of course you got the one that only needed 1 application.
Where does he put the 5th?
Oh, yeah, we'll cover it. The problem is that there was a conversation that he has with Rabbi Yeshua. Rabbi Yeshua says to him, but you're violating the rule of doing too much. 1 second. Where do you get a Bal Taisif from? How much blood did you have entirely? You only had 4 droplets of this and 1 droplet of that. Bal Taisif would be that if I was doing an extra application to the blood that application wasn't supposed to be. But over here, the way you just explained it is that there was only 1 droplet of that blood that needed one application. So what do you mean Bal Taisif? Why is Rabbi Yeshua telling Rabbi Eliezer that you're violating Bal Taisif? You're adding to what the Torah said. It's impossible to add. You don't even have enough blood to even do an extra one.
No, he's saying 5th one adds 4th.
I know, but what's really happening is that how much blood is here entirely from each sacrifice? In order to resolve the problem of maybe you sprinkled all the blood from 1 sacrifice, you didn't even touch the other one. That's a problem because Ein Bila, according to Rav Ashi. So we answered that there's only the exact amount of blood in this mixture that would cover those sacrifices. Only 5 droplets entirely. So okay. So now the question is, so what did Rabbi Yeshua mean when he says, but you're doing too much, it's Bal Taisif? If there was more blood from the one that needs 1, so then maybe you did too much. But here we said there was no more blood. Elama Rava. The Rava answers this. What's the base? Rabba. Okay. Bebalo like pligi. This whole machlekes between Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Eliezer was not talking about when the blood got mixed together. Pligi bekaisis is talking about when the blood was held in different cups. Yeah, the cups were confused. Not that it was a liquid mixture. It's a dry mixture of 2 liquids. What's a dry mixture? A dry mixture is not when things get mixed together. A dry mixture is when it's mixed up in your head, which one is which. That's a dry mixture. It's like 2 packaged cups of liquid got mixed up. Don't mean that the water's mixed, right? Or the blood's mixed. It just means that you don't know which one is which. So we're talking about kipligi bekaisis when they're in separate cups. So therefore, when you do 2 applications, there's no problem. We're not even talking about the mixture.
But if one has 4, how could you do that.
So Rabbi Eliezer says, don't worry, you do 4. You do 4 anyway. Rabbi Eliezer is Ryan, because Rabbi Eliezer holds it's not a problem because he holds Ryan. Says if you do an extra application, don't worry about it. We'll just imagine that it's water. Make believe it's water. It's fine. Rabbanan Laslo Ryan. Therefore, you have to pour it all down the drain. The Gemara asks, "Pligi, you just switched everything that we were thinking, and saying that we're not talking about the blood was mixed together in a solution, but Tanya. But we have a brisa. It says like this: Amar Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda, he qualifies what the machlekes is between Rabbi Eliezer and the Chachamim. Yehuda says, "Leinechleku Rabbi Eliezer v'chamal dam chatash shenesar b'dam ayla sheyikrav." There's no machlekes between Rabbi Eliezer and Chachamim if a chatas gets mixed with an ayla, that you bring it on the mizbeach, you bring up the blood. B'reiva b'nirba, if it's a chatas or an ayla that get mixed with a sacrifice, that a sin was committed with it, so you're not allowed to bring the blood. You don't bring it. What was the machlekes? Al dam tmimim shenesar b'dam balasmon. Talking about the blood of a kosher, of a healthy animal, a perfect animal. It got mixed with the blood of an animal that had a blemish. Now, what we just said over here is that, according to Rabbi Yehuda's explaining the machlekes, Rabbi Eliezer says you offer it, whether it's mixed as a liquid solution or whether it's mixed in the cups, which means like a dry mixture, then you can still bring it. And the Chum say you don't bring it. Now, whatever the case is, Rabbi Eliezer just said that you bring it even if it's a liquid mixture. According to Rav Ashi, you can't explain that, because according to Rav Ashi, when a liquid mixture doesn't mix evenly, maybe you never got the application of the blood of the one of the other one. Where it says Rabbi Yehuda liba de Rabbi Eliezer masni bein bebal bein mekaisis v'Rabbanan mekaisis pligi. There's a machlekes what the machlekes is. Rabbi Yehuda says the machlekes is about a liquid mixture. But according to the Rabbanan, he says the machlekes is only when it's a dry mixture in its cups. Okay, so that answers the question. Because Rav Ashi was talking about according to the machlekes of the Rabbanan, the way the Rabbanan explain it.
Can we just back up for a moment on rowing? Because rowing really bothers me. I mean, rowing to me sounds like, something that's going by where you're supposed to be not looking, and the guy's going like this. No rowing. It's like they make believe that something's not really what it is. I just don't understand how that's.
Let me make it easier for you. Let's say, you take a lulav and esrog and you shake it.
Right.
Now, so 1 second, but the hadassim may not be kosher. So you really only took 3 species here. Prohibition. It says no. When I did that, I had in mind that it's kosher. If it wouldn't be kosher, then I wasn't doing any mitzvah. I'm not doing less. I'm imagining that if I don't have all 4 here, then it should be considered like nothing. I was just shaking my flowers. In my home I have flowers.
But you made a bracha on it.
Okay, ignore the bracha. Ignore the bracha aspect. So let's say Rabbeinu Tam Tefilin. Maybe that's not the order. Maybe it's really supposed to be Rashi, and what you're doing is all wrong. They say, look, I'm doing it with the intention that this is what it's supposed to be. If it's not, then what I'm doing is nothing.
So it's more intentional.
I just put potatoes on my hand. So now you're putting the blood, but maybe the blood is supposed to go down. It's okay if it wasn't supposed to go up there. It's considered like it was just washing the altar. Put water on it. It's not. Make it like it wasn't the mitzvah. It's like a stipulation sort of thing. Okay. And if it's not, that's how.
I didn't understand you personally.
Yeah. Yeah, but this is not going according to that opinion. We weren't saying that the bloods are getting nullified. We didn't say the blood gets nullified. Right? Okay, Amar Abaya. We said that there's a machlekes between Rabbi Eliezer and the Chacham. Abaya explains that Leishano, this whole machlekes, where the Chacham say you have to pour it down the drain. Rabbi Eliezer says, don't worry about it. You can still apply it. He says, that's only Leishanu ela tchilas chatas v'oila. You have to make a correction over here. Tchilas chatas v'oila. Oh, it's the beginning. That's only if it's the beginning. No, we got the corrections coming up. The beginning of both sacrifices. What's the beginning of a sacrifice? What's the end of the sacrifice? The beginning of the sacrifice is when you apply the blood to the altar. The end of the sacrifice is when you pouring the remnants on the drain. So, if both sacrifices are at the same stage of being offered, both are tchilas. Neither blood was applied yet. It got mixed together. So you have machlekes between Rabbi Eliezer and the Chachamim if you can satisfy these sacrifices. The Chachamim say you can't. The chatas goes above, the oil goes below. You have to pour it down the drain. That's the Chachamim's opinion. Rabbi Eliezer says no, you can. You put it above, and you imagine that if it's the wrong blood, it's water. But let's say the blood of the chatas was already put above, and now it's getting mixed in with a tchilas oila. Yeah, they're at different stages of being offered. The chatas was first in line. The blood was already applied. The remnants of the blood, they got mixed in with the oila. That was not applied yet. Tchilas oila, you have to make a correction. With tchilas oila, with the beginning of an oila. So the chatas is it's the end of what happens now. It went above the line. Now I have to put it on the foundation, on the yesod. Where does the oila go? On the wall below the line. So if now I have a mixture, they're both supposed to go below the line. We were just saying, yeah, sure. Below the line, it doesn't matter. Foundation, wall, just throw it on. So it says, but here, if it's seif chatas and tchilas oila, divrei hakol, makam oila, makam shirayim. The place where you put the oila is the same place where you put the shirayim, the remnants, and it's going to be perfectly fine to do both of those together. Put it on the wall, that's going to be considered like you put it on the foundation. Amalei Rav Yosef. Yosef is the teacher of Abaya. Yosef says to Abaya that Hachi Amar Rav Yehuda, Shirayim Trichim Yitztaba. 1 second. The Shirayim, the remnants of the blood, they have to go on the platform. Itzvah means a platform. They have to go on a flat surface, not on the wall. You're satisfying the oila by throwing it against the wall near the foundation, but that's not the way the Shirayim, the remnants are supposed to be. The remnants are supposed to be poured on the foundation, not on the wall. So there's a problem now as well. Chinam Shimon. Oh, this is supposed to be Rish Lakish. Chinam Rish Lakish. It's the Aleph. It's Reb Shimon ben Lakish. Not Reb Shimon. Reb Shimon Atana. It says Rish Lakish says the same thing. Leishano tchilas chatas v'ela. Well, seif chatas v'ela. Divrei hakol makim oila makim shirayim. It's the same. It's correct. This is what Rish Lakish says. Amar Rabbi Yochanan mitem Rabbi Eliezer adayin himachlekes. Rabbi Yochanan says, and so too Rabbi Eliezer. This is not Rabbi Eliezer. This is Rabbi Eliezer ben Pedas. He says that the machlekes is still on because the way that you put the shirayim is not the way you apply the blood of the oila. The blood of the oila has to go against the wall. The shirayim goes on the flat surface. Masiv Rav Huna bar Yehuda. Huna bar Yehuda asked a question from a brisa. It says, regarding a bechor, it says, Kodesh Heim. What's the pasuk? So my Gemara is not so great. It doesn't give me the pasuk everything. Anyway, the pasuk says Kodesh Heim. They remain holy. They don't leave their holiness, which means the brisa says that if the blood of a bechor gets mixed with the blood of other sacrifices, you can offer the both together. My love, what's happening over here? Seifa elo bechor. I have a chumash over here. What pasuk is it?
Numbers, which is what? Bamidbar 18:7.
Number 18.
No, chapter.
I know. Saying he said numbers. I said number 18. Okay. The pasuk says, here we're talking about, however, a firstborn ox, a firstborn sheep, or a firstborn goat should not be redeemed, for they are holy. So that means kodesh heim. Ach b'char shor b'char kasav b'char is later kodesh heim. And the pasuk goes on. It says their blood should be sprinkled on the altar, and their fat should be burnt as a fire offering, as a pleasant aroma to God. The meat will be yours. Okay. So what we're learning now is that the what does it mean kodesh? That means that even if the blood is mixed with another sacrifice, you still put the blood. That's what the Gemara is teaching me. Now, what sacrifice is it getting mixed with, and at which point is it getting mixed? So the Gemara is saying probably what it means is that it's getting mixed with the blood of an oila after the blood of the oila was already sprinkled, and so now the remnants of the blood.
Is this what we say on
No, that's the candles on Hanukkah.
Oh, I know it's ringing in my mind.
Very good. Very good. We should bum. Oh, that's coming up also. There was a bum somewhere. Bum, right? So what's it talking about? Seif Oila is getting mixed together with the Bechar. That means that the blood of the Oila was already applied to the wall. And now you have to pour the rest of the blood onto the surface of the foundation. Now the blood of the Bechar needs to be put against the wall. The Shmamina, Oila, Makim Shirayim. Where you put the Tchilas Oila, where you're supposed to apply the blood, is just satisfactory for the Shirayim, putting it on the ground, which is what Abaya said. Okay. Gemara says, Loi. Gemara says, maybe not. Maybe Tchilas Oila Bechar. Maybe they're both supposed to go against the wall. It's the application of the Oila got mixed in with the Bechar, and they both have to be applied to the wall. So what's the Chiddush then? What's the Chiddush that you apply them both? I need a pasuk to tell me that you put it against the wall. That's where they're supposed to go. Chiddush is the Ein Oilin Mebatlin Zeh, that the bloods of two sacrifices don't nullify each other. It says, hi, that halacha, I know that from another source. On Yom Kippur, it says that you take the blood of the par, and you mix it with the blood of the par is the bull. You mix it with the blood of the goat. And everyone knows that the bull has more blood than the goat. Nevertheless, the Torah still calls it the blood of the goat, which means that it doesn't get nullified. So I have a clear Torah source that one blood doesn't nullify another blood. So why are you telling me that we're learning it over here from Kodesh Haim, that if they get mixed together, you can still apply them? It says, I know that it doesn't become batal. I have another source for that. And it says, Tanai, it's a machlokes. Some learn it from Kodesh Haim, that it doesn't nullify. And some learn it from Balakach Midam Apar, Midam Asar, from the service on Yom Kippur, that it doesn't nullify. You have two sources. Some from this, some from that. What's the Torah source for that? So the Torah source for that is either on Yom Kippur, or it's from Kodesh Haim, as we're saying over here. Masif Rava has a question. It says about the carbon oila, it says, V'krivu b'nei Aaron, Esadam, the sons of Aaron will take the blood, and V'zarchu Esadam, and they'll sprinkle the blood. Now, why does it have to say they'll bring the blood close, and then they'll sprinkle the blood? It could say they'll bring the blood close, and they'll sprinkle it. Why does it have to be V'zarchu Esadam? We have, you're allowed to use pronouns. You can say it. You don't have to keep saying, right? So the Gemara asks, "Ma Talmud Leimar," on top of Pei Aleph and Beis. "Ma Talmud Leimar dam dam." Why do you have to say dam twice? They take the blood and they sprinkle the blood. It's good enough. So sheyachal, because I could have thought, the Shittim Kabetzes has a whole version over here of the Gemara. Let me read it from the Shittim Kabetzes. In the translation, it's probably almost the same, but it says, Minayan ata omer, it's Shittim Kabetzes Aleph, if you have that. You don't have Shittim Kabetzes in your thing? No, the whole art scroll thing doesn't it? And there's a little note on the side. I bet it's in there. No, it's so I get a different
Oh,
now, what happens if you
Oh, I mean after eating.
Oh, 1 second. Oh, that's
it's
just
not.
oh, it's so different than here's the gear side. Oh yeah. Now you're not time. Yeah, that's the gear side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. You get your money's worth over there. With the,
No, the
it's fine.
money's worth was last week.
They had a
the
sale
whole
on it.
thing was I think $300.
Yeah, but without an iPad, though. You have to have your own.
Without the iPad.
Yeah.
So it's basically the same.
Yeah, because you
Because
can get the bit
originally it was like $800 on sales.
with the
It
iPad.
came with the iPad.
Yeah, it wasn't
No,
it?
with the iPad, without the iPad.
Yeah. Okay, so in the sheet Mikveh says, "Minayin ata'im nesarav dam ayla b'dam ayla." From where do you know that if the blood of an ayla gets mixed with another ayla, or dam ayla b'dam tmura, or the blood of an ayla gets mixed with the blood of an animal that was exchanged, dam ayla b'dam chulin, or if an ayla gets mixed with the blood of a mundane animal, yikrvu, that you should offer the blood on the altar. Talmud dam, it says in pasuk dam. I would only know these three examples: an ayla with an ayla with the tmura, an ayla with chulin that you would offer. Now, because even if the animals themselves got mixed up while they were alive, I would still offer all of those as sacrifices. The chulin I would offer as a sacrifice, and I would just use it for someone else that needed a carbon. But
So
minayin,
which of the korbanos?
so with the three now, with an ayla with an ayla, I would have to offer them both anyway.
Okay.
An ayla with a tamura, an animal that was exchanged for another, I'd have to offer them both. An ayla that got mixed with a chulin, I would have to offer them both. Now when the bloods get mixed, I put them all the blood on the altar, because those would have been sacrifices
How
anyway.
does the chulin get into?
If an animal of chulin got mixed with an animal of that's an ayla, what would I do? How would I resolve my issue? Which one is the carbon? I would offer them both as aylas, and I would go to someone that needed an ayla. If I have an ayla that I need to bring, you need to bring an ayla. You want to use mine? Pay me this, and you can use mine. And then when it gets offered, you say, if it's for me, it's this. If it's for you, it's that. Whatever. You do the stipulation stuff. So, minayin afil nesarav ba'asham. So how do I know that if it gets mixed with an asham, you would a guilt offering, you do the same thing. The blood gets mixed. I would offer them both because both of them are similar. They're both kachi kachim. What about if the blood gets mixed with the blood of a taida or a shlamim, which is not kachi kachim, a Thanksgiving offering or a shlamim? So an because both of them have the application of 4, which means 2, which are 4. So it's the same thing. What if it gets mixed with a sacrifice that has a application of just 1 to 1? One application, which is a bechor or pesach. You only have one application. Talmud dam dam. The pasuk says dam dam. It says dam twice. So tell me that you offer that all up. My love. Okay, now if you jump back to the Gemara, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines down in the Gemara. My love, is it not that what we're talking about here? What's mixture we're referring to when we kept saying over here that it gets mixed together? That you offered on you do the application of blood. Seif Ayla ubachar. We're talking about where the Ayla the blood was already applied, and now it got mixed with the bachar, where the blood was not applied. So what do I do with the blood of the Ayla after it's applied? I put it on the foundation. What do I do with the bachar? I put it against the wall. We're proving over here that the place of the wall is good enough for the remnants of the blood, which is supposed to go on the foundation. Shema mina, makai maila, makim shirayim, which is exactly what Abaya held. Where it says loy, maybe not. Maybe it's tchila seila b'char. Maybe they're both the same state, the same category, the same level where they both need to have their first application of blood, and they both go below the line, and they both going to the same place. And you're saying that you can do that. The Gemara says, "My kamashman." If they're both going to the same place, the applications weren't done yet. Then why do you have to tell that to me? Well, that's what you want to tell me, that the blood of one sacrifice doesn't nullify the other one. Looking with Amar Damasar Nafka. I learned that from Yom Kippur. Take the blood of the bull, you take the blood of the goat, you mix them together. So that's going to teach me that the blood doesn't say. I know that already from another source. You don't have to teach it to me from Dam Dam. So the Gemara says Tanaihi. Some learn it from the word dam. Some learn it from balakach midam apar midam asar from Yom Kippur. Comes out now we have three sources that the blood of a sacrifice doesn't nullify another sacrifice. One was from Yom Kippur, the blood of the bull, the blood of the goat, they don't nullify. Other one was dam dam. We just said that the blood of an oila won't nullify the blood of bechar. Another one was koydeshim. They are holy. Even if it gets mixed in, it won't nullify it, right? The Gemara says, "V'hani tanoi." These tanoim, we said that each one learns from another source. So 2 out of the 3 don't learn from Yom Kippur. Why not? Savri, ein ma'arvin lekronis. Because over here, there is a machlekes when the bloods got mixed together on Yom Kippur. Some say they got mixed before you apply it to the Mizbeach HaPnimi. Some say you mix them afterwards, but the application of the Mizbeach HaPnimi was done separately. So we're saying we're not going to learn from the Damapar and the Damasar. We're not going to learn from that source that the bloods don't nullify one another, because this opinion holds that you don't apply them after it's mixed. You apply them before it's mixed. So there's no proof that it doesn't nullify. The one, okay, now, midam dam layalaf, they also don't learn, means now the other 2 opinions, don't learn from dam dam, which was the last one. Dam dam mashmalu. The fact that it says an extra time blood, that's not a proof to what we're saying. They don't have that drasha. The lack of pronouns is not a problem. Ella mikoydeshem my time layalfi. Why don't they learn from koydeshem? So kasavri, they hold koydeshem. They actually learn it differently. They learn that a bechar is brought to the altar, but a tamura is not brought. If you make a tamura, if you exchange the bechar with another animal, you don't offer it. V'idach, what is the one that kaidashem? How does he learn that about tamura that it's not brought? Nafkle mi imshar imseh la Hashemhu. Hukari vein tamura sukreva. It says in the pasuk Imsharim said, where's that pasuk? And this is earlier in Vayikra Chav Zayin. It says Imsharim Seh La Hashemu. That comes to teach me that specifically the bechar is offered, but not the exchanged animals offered. Okay. Before we said that the shirayim, according to Abaya, was allowed to be put on the wall. It doesn't have to go on the surface of the foundation. Tashma. Come and listen. We said that blood that's supposed to go above, that gets mixed in with blood that goes below. So if nasan l'mayla v'lei nimlach, let's say the kohen put the blood above and he didn't ask any questions, right? It's mixed together. Really, according to the Chacham, you weren't supposed to do this. According to Rebbe Lezer, that's fine. But Elo v'Elo, both the Chacham and Rebbe Lezer would agree, maidim sheyachsav yitin lamata, that you put the blood below now because it was already applied above. And what about the sacrifice that's supposed to go below? You put it below. And both of them are satisfied. Both sacrifices work. My love, is it not the Yarev Chatas Va'ila, that the blood of the Chatas and Oila got mixed together? Given the Yarev Leila Maila, Havalu Shirayim. Once you put the blood above, then what's the blood that's down below? The blood that's remaining is Shirayim, is remnants. It's supposed to go on the surface. And we see that both agree that you put it below. What's below? You put it below on the wall. The place of placing it on the wall, Makim Shirayim, is the same place that's satisfactory for putting the remnants. So that seems to be a proof. Rabbi Yitzchak bar Yosef, Amar, when Rabbi Yitzchak bar Yosef came to Bavel, he said, Amri b'marav, in Eretz Yisrael they taught, actually it's different. We're talking about that the blood of a chatas chitzayna, of an outer chatas, which is supposed to go above the line, got mixed in with shirayim of a chatas pnimi. The shirayim of a chatas pnimi is supposed to go on the foundation. And what happened was over here, he doesn't ask any questions and he throws it on the altar, above the line. Now he has to put the remnants of both of them below. And he's not putting it on the wall, he's putting it down below, so it's no problem. Amalei Abaya, The Baya says to Rabbi Yitzchak Bar Yosef that just arrived from Eretz Yisrael. He says, "V'nei mamar kein di yarev b'shirayim." Why do you have to say that it's a chatas pnimi? Maybe it's just both shirayim of chatas chitzayna. Umar says, "Dilma hakamash malan." Maybe what he wanted to say is afilu lamanda amar shirayim ma'akvim. Maybe what he wanted to say is that there is an opinion that holds that the remnants of the sacrifice is supposed to go inside the chatas pnimi. If you don't do it right, it invalidates the whole sacrifice. Remember, we had one opinion that held that. So, chasru ein ma'akvin. But if that's only but that doesn't mean that it has to be all of it. It still could be missing. That's the idea. Because since you applied some of it above, it's still going to be kosher. Amlei Ravatei Sval Ravina. Why did Rabbi Yitzchak Bar Yosef have to explain this? That we're talking about chatas and an oila that got mixed in. That a chatas chitzainis got mixed with a chatas pnimius. Could have been a chatas and an oila. Kimna hu beruba el yainim. We explained that brisa was where there was the mixture was majority was supposed to go above. And you applied to the wall the amount of the mixture, the proportion of the one that's supposed to go below, plus a little bit, and you put it on top. So what's left now, what you're putting below, is the shirayim. What about the chatas? The chatas was above. Oh, because we're saying because there was no blood left from the lower one. Amar lei hanimili lamanda amar miikara ein bila. We're following here, where according to the opinion where Rabbi Lezer holds ein bila. That was the way Rav Ashi explained it. That's why we had to say that if it didn't mix evenly. However, maskana is bekaisis pligi. You already adjusted that. We already got out of that issue by saying when we were talking about we thinking ein bila where it doesn't mix evenly. We had to say that it didn't mix evenly. So how do you know you got any of the right blood above? He says, well, because you put on so much above that you covered definitely the amount of those. But now we already switched it. We said that we're dealing with separate cups. Dealing with separate cups, then you don't have to say that was the case. And we're able to say that the place of the oila is actually the place of the shirayim against the wall. Okay. Let's leave it over here, up to the Mishnah.
So which one?
The Mishnah. Okay.